Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trek Talk with Tech and Kirk. I'm TechMan16.
I'm Strange Kirk.
Today, we have another special guest with us today. He is the number 2 Power Destroyed player on Server 34 in Star Trek Fleet Command and was recently the Admiral of Terran Empire, now renamed Star Trek Fleet Command, Grand Admiral Key. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are y'all?
Doing pretty good, man. Thanks for taking the time and joining us today. It's a pleasure having you on.
No problem at all.
And let's just dive right into it with our standard questions. Number 1, how did you get into Star Trek? What's your favorite series, your favorite character, and then how did you get into Fleet Command?
How I got into it, I saw it on Facebook, actually. I just happened to click on it. And so, that looks like a cool game. I kept seeing, you see those advertisements on Facebook all the time. Yeah, you'll watch them. And I watched it probably 20 times, and finally one day I decided to join it and start playing. Favorite character from all the series has got to be the original Admiral Kirk. And what was the other question?
So, how did you get into Star Trek overall?
Overall? I was a kid. When the original series was on as a kid, man, I'm 55 years old. I was watching that stuff years ago, and I've been a Trekkie ever since.
So you started with the original series, right?
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Did you watch the Next Generation and Voyager and Deep Space Nine?
Deep Space Nine, Voyager, the one that they did the original one. Gosh, what was this guy's name? You know what I'm talking about? But it had
Enterprise?
The very first Enterprise went out. That was called Star Trek Enterprise, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was called Enterprise, and then it got renamed to Star Trek Enterprise with Jonathan Archer.
Yeah, with Archer. Yeah, that was a really cool show. I actually liked that. That is one of my favorite ones. It was actually really nice to watch.
I know Kirk and I have talked about this, but it was very nice how the showrunners were able to take newer technology, because obviously it was 50 years, 40 years after the original series, actually dumb it down to the point where the technology is less than the level of the original series.
Yeah. But years ago, I've always thought that was cool too. Now they started just talking about warp theories and all this, singularities, and then you'll have, you have the singularity, it's basically a black hole. Then you start talking about time travel. They were talking about all that in the old series.
Yes, and in fact, I believe the first episode, they used the name time warp instead of warp factor.
Yeah.
I was in the cage, if you remember. Anybody who's listening will remember.
There was actually a couple times where I think they actually referred to it as the time warp factor.
I believe it was only the first episode, if not maybe the first and second. After that, it was just warp factor.
Yeah, I have to go back and look at that. What was that original captain's name before Kirk? Remember?
Pike.
Pike. Yep. That was actually Pike back then.
Yes.
In the old shows.
In the very first, the pilot episode, that was Captain Pike.
That was Pike. Okay, I couldn't remember that. I remember seeing because they went to V'ger later about that or something. In one of the movies way down the line.
Well, in the movies, that was played by Stephen Collins. It was Captain Decker, I believe.
Yeah.
And in the Star Trek: The Motion Picture, Captain Decker took control of the Enterprise with Admiral Kirk.
Yeah, and he took it back from him. That's correct. Yeah, because there was a pissing contest back and forth about that. He didn't want to give control of the ship over. I remember that now.
Who was your favorite character? Was it Kirk?
Oh, Kirk's always been it. Yeah, well, the original Kirk. And I like the latest movies that are out right now. I like that Kirk too.
The Chris Pine Kirk and the Kelvin time.
Yeah. I like seeing the whole series when him growing up and stuff. And that's what's really cool. I've went back over the last few weeks and actually watched all 3 of those movies again, and I'm just seeing how they relate to the game, and it's spot on. Even down to like your stations. If you watch those movies again, the stations look exactly the same in the movie as they do in the game.
Yeah, they're definitely based off of the Kelvin timeline in the newer movies. However, if you look at, I was actually mentioning this earlier, talking to somebody. If you look at the non-faction ships, your level your earlier ships that you can get in Star Trek Fleet Command before you get to where you get your level 26 ship.
Mm-hmm.
All of those ships are in or are referenced in Star Trek Enterprise.
I wouldn't doubt that a bit.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Tech, have you noticed that as well? It's like the Kumari was obviously the Andorian battle cruiser.
Yes, and then the Voklis was the Vulcan ship where it housed the Vulcans who practiced emotions.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tala was the name of Shran's daughter.
Exactly. Yep.
Towards the end of the series, and then I don't remember where the North Star comes into play, but I think that was also an Enterprise.
Fun little fun quiz. Can you tell me the character that the actor who plays Shran played in Deep Space Nine?
That I cannot.
Wayoon, and then he also played Pank in Voyager.
They did.
In Tsukatse, I believe that was the episode where the Rock was. The Rock was in that episode.
Was he really?
Yes, he was. He was a like a cage fighter or whatever their version of cage fighter is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't watch every one of the Deep Space Nines. I'll tell you one thing that ticks me off. There's the one new series that's on CBS. I can hardly get it. I can't get it. I've tried and tried.
I'm not a huge fan, and we're actually gonna have an episode eventually where we talk about that. I'm not a huge fan of Discovery myself. So moving on from that, I'm really interested to know you've been. How long have you been? I've been playing this game for a year. I can only imagine you've had to have been playing a little bit longer than me.
About twice as long, maybe a little more.
So you basically got into the server that we're in, which is server 34. You got into that server probably right about when it was started.
I think so. Yeah, I know. Like known as Admiral Inchoate and I were coming along. He was always and he still is 4 levels ahead of me. And it kind of progressed as we were both growing. I do know that. I remember watching that. Back and forth. He and I used to talk a lot back then.
The progression from then to now, how different is it now, being as high of a level as you are now? How has the strategy changed, and how you play the game different than when you were in the late teens, early 20s in level?
Well, I don't raid anymore. As far as going out and base raiding, now I love cracking bases. That's fun. Yeah, but I don't raid them when I crack them. Just when I was Admiral there at TE. I would just go out with my guys. I was I tell them, look, I said, okay, I'm gonna go knock on 6 bases. As soon as I get one fatal, I would go there, crack it for them. They'd come. I said, y'all come eat. If I thought they was gonna have people defending, I would sit there with them. But other than that, I would just go around cracking bases, and just feeding them. Now, as far as my actual play, it's mostly doing missions and just trying to build up from there. Missions are a big thing because there's a lot of. Once you get into deep space, there's a lot of doors that you have to complete a mission before you can go a certain. Then you got to go find that mission. That's a real pain in the ass. It's just finding them.
So you say you don't raid anymore. Is it just not worth the time for the amount of effort that you have to put into it?
It's definitely not worth the time because, all right, my average build up cost for something is in the billions. Okay, it takes you you can't. If I was to sit there and try to raid somebody, let's say they had 3 billion par steel in their base, I would sit there for 2 dang days. The biggest miner you got in this game won't bear 3.5, maybe 4 million tops. Is all you're gonna pull with a hit. You realize how long that takes to get a billion?
So for those listening, I'm level 31, and I'm maxed out on buildings, maxed out on research. One of my more expensive buildings, cost me 50 million par steel, whereas one of your buildings would cost an average of what? What would you say, ballpark?
Let me look one up for you here real quick. I'll tell you what. Let's look at the shipyard.
There you go.
All right. The shipyard is 10.2 billion.
10.2 billion.
Par steel. 100 million titanium. 6,000 uncommon 4-star crystal and 20,000 common 4-star crystal. That's just to bump it up, and 141 days to upgrade.
141.
141.
Well, I might as well say 142 because 141 days and 23 hours. So, yeah.
So
Model 6.
another thing to put it in perspective, my tier 8 Bortus, which is about 1.3 million with the crew that I'm not using right now. I'm using a burning crew, so it's not as high. But if I put the max crew I can on there, I can squeeze 1.3 million out of it. From getting blown up to fully repaired, it cost me over 600,000, tritanium to repair it. How much does it cost one of your grade 4 ships to repair from fully destroyed?
Yeah, I have to run this short real quick. I actually stopped counting. Yeah, because it didn't matter anymore. Let's see. I mean, I could probably tell you easier on what it costs to upgrade. Let's like my jelly right now is sitting in the base. I am not using it at the point. It is a tier 8, and it's still got. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. You have 8 different spots on it to upgrade. Okay, and let's say, and like I say, it's sitting in the base at 7.44 million, and then sitting outside the base, I think it runs like 6.8, 6.9. It just gets more power parts at the base, but to build it up, like it's got a red matter kinetic torpedo on there. It takes these uncommon 4-star interceptor parts, which is the big thing. It takes 45,000 of them. At this point, I've got 11,000 sitting there. It takes 12,000 ore. This is all 4-star stuff. 23,000, and these are all uncommons too. Gas, and then it takes 168,000 common interceptor parts, which they're easy to come across. But the big thing is you got to refine these things in the refinery. It will really tick you off because you got to go out there and you got to grind and grind and grind. There's you go into the higher levels. You want to kill like at least a level 45, 47 ship, and it needs to be another explorer like you're doing, and it'll drop parts, but they're broken parts. So you have to take those parts, then you got to refine them in your refinery, and one thing that's going to tick you off when you're around level 41 to 42, your refinery is not going to spit out crap. Yeah, it's going to keep giving you commons.
So basically, which is it almost just like what we in the lower levels face right now with the G3 materials, where you have to refine those, and you might get some uncommon, you might not.
That's correct. It's correct, but you have to get off. I was at 43 before I really started seeing uncommon explorer parts dropping from refining. And I remember talking to other guys around my same level, and we were all pissed off. And I think Trojan and I were talking about it one day. We were like, "Man, this sucks,"
So, just to reiterate, for anybody who's listening and not in the higher level, basically, not only do you have to refine P4 materials that you mine, you also have to refine the parts that you want for a specific ship.
Yes.
And the only way to get these broken parts is to blow up a bunch of hostiles, which means you got to spend titanium, you got to spend dilithium to repair your ships because you can only get maybe 8, 9, 10 ships around.
Oh no, I can get more than that. Just where I'm at now, I can just because of the crews I run. I'll run Pike when I'm just trying to kill hostiles. I'll put Pike in there. What's her name? Milan or
Moreau.
She always run Moreau. Yeah, I always run with her and not 10 with them. And I can, with that jelly where it's at right now, I can probably kill 20 or 30, 46, 47 levels. And then there's miners too. Of course, I'm trying to get like Fed points too. So that's another thing that gets dropped. You get a lot of Fed points for that.
Okay, you get points for killing hostiles as well.
Right? Your rep points. And you get those at your level as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all. Trying to build it up to respected and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And then you're trying to grind, and man, those grinds from levels. They just get worse and worse.
Oh, I think for me to faction lock the Klingons, it took me a week of day after day after day of just blowing up ships, repairing, blowing up ships, repairing, blowing up ships, repairing.
And it's always best to blow up a miner. You're gonna get more points for a miner than you are for an interceptor or a battleship or an explorer. It spits out more stuff to you. But you have to grind.
Right. You
grind factions. If you're trying to push one all the way to the top, the problem is you got to leave the other two alone. Yeah. Like I've got even at my level, I've got Klingon locked and I've got Fed locked, but I'm trying to push Fed all the way to the top. which keeps messing my Romulan up. So what I do is I just kill Klingons. I mean, what that does is by just killing Klingons, you get a little bit of Romulan points every time you kill a Klingon, but you get a whole bunch of Fed points every time you kill a Klingon. You get about half as much Romulan. And your Klingon goes down each time, but it can't go below 10 million.
Because you're faction locked.
Yeah, because it's locked there. But I have not experienced any other. I keep hearing people talking about it like there's other faction locks. I haven't experienced any.
Yeah, I've never heard of any. All I know of is the 10 million faction lock, and that's another reason why I'm not trying to go up too high right now, because I need to get the Romulans. I'm only halfway there. I'm about 5 million. I need to lock them. So then I need to lock the Feds, and then I can focus on.
Right. If I had it to do over again, I would recommend everyone lock all 3 factions first, then find one that they want to go with.
That's what I've been hearing from a lot of the higher level guys that have learned
that lesson. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But but it was tried. It was just didn't know. You just asking other people, "Hey man, what are you doing?" That kind of stuff. And there's all kind of factors in the game that can drive that too.
What level is best to faction lock? Because there's no feasible way. I'm at 24. There's no feasible way I can faction lock for a while.
I would say somewhere in the mid-30s. You can do it. I would say
so. Coming back to some of the missions that you do in dark space and deep space, most of us don't have access to these systems. So can you tell us more about first of all, what are dark spaces?
It's just, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Basically, what are dark spaces and how far can you get out into deep space?
Okay. I can go out to about 130 right now, as far as my warp will go. And how you do that, though, and I can't get past 130, and I get to 130 with taking my jelly, which already has a good warp on it. And then there's these, pull it up, you got to do it in the research area.
It's the warp cores, isn't it? Enhanced warp cores or something?
Yes, and I wanted to talk about those because it's very, very important for everybody to know. You got to do a mission first before you can get those enhanced warp cores. And it's called Angel in Disguise. And I've had so many people ask me, how'd you find it? I said, I went back down to level 1 areas and started and worked my way through the system and found every mission that I could and then worked them into faction space and just ran every damn mission I could till I finally came across Angel in Disguise. And I ran that mission and I was finally able to get the warp cores. But what the enhanced warp cores do is they allow you to go an extra 5 warp. And that's huge. When you take Pike and put Cadet Scotty with them, that's 7 more warp right there. You see what I mean? So you can get 13 extra warp as far as distance goes, warp range by doing that. But that's a huge mission you got to run. I mean, right now I'm trying the 3rd one, but it cannot be done until I get to level 46.
So with the enhanced warp cores, is that a one-time use or every time you do it, does that
Nope. I thought
warp?
the same thing. That's a good question. I thought the same thing when I first got it. I'm like, damn, I have to keep buying these damn things, Didn't know, but no. Once you get it once, it just locks in, and it's for every ship too.
Right. So it'll increase for every ship.
Every ship you got, which really helps you on mining as well.
Oh yeah, I mean I can imagine. I've just actually gotten my second. I have 2. I have the Antares and the Cavort, and both of those are warp 40, and that's a game changer right there.
Yeah, it is.
So on that, with the takeaway for me is what I'm hearing is that before you get to it, before you even have to worry about it, start doing every damn mission you can find.
Right. Yeah. Get all those out of the way because one mission unlocks another. Is how it works, So run all the missions that you can. One mission unlock another, and then by the time you're actually in deep space. And that's where you'll actually find that mission. You won't actually find it back in lower space, if I can remember correctly. But who was it? I think I think actually Incho was actually the one that told me that. I think I asked him that question about 9 months ago. He was actually the one that told me how to get to that. He's not a total douche like some people think. Yeah. He can be very nice. He can be.
Shout out to Inch. With real quick, I do want to touch on the G4 resources. How much do they vary from the G3 resources as far as availability and refining, or is it about the same?
It's about the same. Just the factors are different. your nodes in deep space area are like the biggest node y'all run across would be like a 60,000.
Yeah.
All right. Up there they start in the lower parts of deep space. They start at 100,000, and then the upper areas you go all the way up to 400,000. What I've seen right now.
So with those, how much? Okay, so for G3, you can do a, which I have Prime Refine, so I get a little bit more. But for G3, you get a 1750 option, 12,000 option, and a 75,000 option. What are the options for G4?
About the same. Like I said, it's just the biggest thing for mining stuff. If everybody wants to know, you got to go to research. It don't matter how much you tear up your ship, and it's only going to have so much ability. You've got to get into research, and all those things. Like you'll have ones for gas. Well, gas that don't necessarily mean just G4. It means everything. That's G3 or G2. But the more you build those research things up, the faster you will grow. And the research is definitely huge in this game. And that's where a lot of my resources went to purchase and doing the that's what it passed. Just grinding stuff. And going in and doing what you need to do for research to upgrade. That's where I spent most of my time at. And that can slow your progress down too. But in the end game, it'll help you.
Right.
So when you're on these 100,000 nodes or 400,000 nodes, you go OPL? Does anybody hit you? Or
no, there's an agreement up in deep space between it. It's kind of a gentleman's agreement. It's a whole lot better than it is in G3. Just everybody don't hit there.
So basically, you can kind of just mine until you're full and then go home.
Yeah, I mean, we can get on that subject in a minute because this recent war, changed that a little bit. But
and we are that is something we'll talk about eventually.
But seriously, everybody up there, because it's such a pain. All right, here's your problem. All right, you know how on your nodes you can click on them and see them? You can't there. You got to have a ship or a station there to go to that area. All right, so I mean that's literally now you still have a little when you click on the area, it tells you what's in it. Whether it's par steel, titanium, dilithium, or or ore or whatever, it tells you that to the side. But you can't see a ship in there. You can't see there's bases available there. You can't see any of that. You literally have to go there, and that takes a minute.
That feeds back into my earlier question. That those are dark spaces where
Right.
you have those little eyeballs, if you will, right next to the world or system that you're in, and you can't see anything inside there until you get there.
That's correct. Now, once you guys, here's one good thing about it. What you can't do in the G3 areas, how you have to have all your ships at home to relocate your base.
Right.
Okay. In dark space, you don't. You need to have 4 of your ships on, or in my case, 4. Because I have 5 ships total. But you send 1 ship to go scout wherever you want. As soon as it gets to that area, then you can relocate your base to that area.
So they just changed that not too long ago.
Yeah, that's not just a G4 thing anymore. You could do that.
How can you do it? Well, see, I don't do it anywhere else, so I didn't know.
It was that way. It was that way at first.
Yeah, well, that's when remember when everything all around when everything got stuck at 39.
Yes.
Okay, but right after they I think Scopely was still writing like what they wanted to do past 39 at that point. Because I know a lot of the guys we just sat there and sat there and sat there. There was nothing to really do. We just grind, and wait for the next level to come out. But once they did that, then I'm sure Scopely realized that this is a real pain in the butt what we're doing here. So we got to make it a way where they can get around. So they did that. It's just but that's what you just get one ship there, then you move your whole base there. Yeah, it's still a process regardless. It's a lot longer up there to do what you got to do.
Yeah, so talk to us about the warp times, because in like lower level space, it takes you like 30 seconds from one system to the other, 15 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you get towards like the beginning of faction space, you're looking at, a couple minutes to about 7 minutes if you're going from galaxy to galaxy. What is it like going from, say, the edge of Klingon deep space to like the edge of like Federation deep space?
Depending on who you got as crew, it can be 13 minutes with just a normal crew sitting on there. But if you put Haliba on your bridge, you'll get there in half the time because she like doubles your warp speed.
Right. And
You can cut it down to like 7 minutes, But that's a long distance what you just described.
right. Well, so because like for me, I've just so I have a tier 8 board, so I'm over warp 60. I've been everywhere there is to be before you get to deep space. I've discovered every place there is. I'm not going to be able to go any further for another 8 levels.
Right.
So I do know through some of the people that I've talked to, which, if I'm not mistaken, are you the one that has 2 jellyfish?
No, that's not me. I did.
No, that's not it.
Who has the 2 jellyfish? Just a side note.
There are 2 people in Nona, I believe, that have 2 jellyfish. I know Inkcoat has like 6 or 7 or whatever.
Yeah, he just got bored and just kept building them.
Right. So anyway, so the one thing that I have just go, and this ties in with the warp speed. The jellyfish is fast as hell, isn't it?
Not in this. Well, it's fast on warp speed. It's not on impulse.
Right.
It's really slow on impulse.
But as far as warp speed going from one system to the other, I know that I've seen some guys get around with those jellyfish, and it seems like they permanently have Helvia on the bridge.
Well, yeah, because she does definitely help. If you're just trying to move from system to system, I'll tell you what warp speed is. Hang on. I'll tell you in a second. The warp speed. You see, like right now, it's 85 for impulse, but it's 13 warp. Warp speed's 13.
Yeah, that's pretty screaming when you start comparing. So when you start comparing to the earlier ships, which kind of I can now segue into my next thing. You have a jellyfish. I hear that it is an absolute pain in the rear end to get one because you can't. I think I've heard that you can only get them through epic chests and events.
Yep, that's it, and they'll be offered in your alliance when you reach. I think it's 37 or 38. But like when our alliance was doing it, we was all taking turns. That's what you need to do inside your own alliance. Those events will come up. There'll be several of you in there who can do it. Yeah, but guys who can't do it, they won't be able to see it on their game. But the ones that can will know because they're all the same level. It'll be offered. And it's just an event to do. And then they give you the opportunity to start getting blueprints. But you got to do that first. And then you get all the blueprints. But even then, I think if you get offered it, it might be down as low as 36. I cannot remember off the top of my head. It's been a while back. But you can't pilot it until you're 39.
Right. You can't even build the dadgum thing.
Well, that's great. Oh no! You can build it. You just can't fly it.
That's
you can gather all the blueprints and be ready to build it, but they will not let you fly it until you reach level 39.
That is really weird. And on you can also get the blueprints through the epic chests as well for the armadas, correct?
Correct. Yeah, you can for those.
Okay,
you sure can.
I just want to now this event. What kind of event is it? Is it a spending resources event? Is it a PvE?
No, it's like a PvE. Yeah, it's just you're going out. You're doing something. I forgot what it was. Go kill so many hostiles or something. It's been so long ago now.
Oh, so just a typical run of the mill Scopely event.
Yeah, there's nothing really hard about it. You just got. The biggest thing is you have to score number 1 in the event. That's why you take turns. Even inner alliances. I'm not sure if it crosses between inner alliances. I think it does. But you might even want to talk to another alliance, like if they're going for it too, and you take turns between alliances. Hey, look, I'm trying to get mine too. I want to say though it's inside your own alliance, but you got to talk with your own players, and you let one. It's a 1-day event. I do know that. You let the guy score first, and then all right, it's my turn. Then you do the event, and then you score first. And I think the event lasts 7 days or something like that. And I'm going to peer off memory there because it's been a while since I did it.
Okay.
But that's the best way to do it is work with your teammates on that. I'm almost positive it's inside your own alliance, so it's not competing with anybody else.
I actually have 2 people in my alliance trying to go for a jellyfish, and I believe they scored 1 and 2. And let me see if I can find the screenshot.
Yeah, it should be only one that got it.
It says it's nice that the 2 who got the full BPs for the jelly are in our alliance. Apparently, it's like the top 2 you get.
Okay, so it is 2 now. Back when I was doing it, it was number 1 person. Second didn't get it.
And that's inner alliance because you have you got Grazi on there as number 4. You got Skunk Worker for most, number 5. It looks like it's an
I-
inner alliance event.
Okay, it is airlines. Yeah.
Oh man, so if Grazie's listening to this, what you referenced, anyway, Grazie will get the joke. We were talking about it. That was one of the reasons why I brought up the Jellyfish event. Anyway, so I guess now would be a good time as any, to talk about the I guess the proverbial elephant in the room is this huge. I try to curb my cursing just in case my mom wants to listen or something, but I'll just go ahead and say it's kind of a clusterfuck of this quote unquote war that was going on, that was kind of plaguing your alliance and with some other people. And so I am a member of one of the largest alliances on the server, and I think the majority of the people in my crew don't even know what the heck was going on and why all of a sudden it seemed like everybody was trying to attack you and the alliance that you're in. I am in the dark on that, and I think I'm interested, and other people are interested in hearing your take on it and figuring out what the heck was going on.
Okay, sure. It goes back a way, so it'll take a minute. You got to go back in history. Originally, I started out in an alliance called Kobe. Yeah. When I first started the game, I tried to start my own little alliances when I was like a 10, 12, just whatever. I ended up joining Kobe. Made myself all the way to Commodore there. And then I got demoted one day. I got mad, because I got demoted because mainly I was raiding OPL, and the Commodore at the time kicked me out. I'm not kicked me out, but demoted me. When I asked him about it, he just basically told me because I wanted to and left or whatever. I was like, oh, you're fine. And there was a lot of issues going on with Kobe back at that time too. And then I met Admiral Q, Grand Admiral Q, during that time on the game, and he was getting ready to form STFC at that point in time. And we actually didn't even call it him, we called it Kobe something back then. I can't remember another name, but I ended up joining. I was one of the original 5 that joined, me and him. We formed it together with 3 other guys. Of course we had our raiding battles back and forth. Inchoke was with what was that name of that alliance way back then?
IDDA?
Yep, IDDA. That's exactly right. He was with IDDA back then. And we had our pissing contests back and forth. Alliances do.
Exactly.
But and it was competition the whole way up. Because we're all growing right there together, right at the same levels. There was some bad blood back then. After we went to SCFC, then I can't remember the exact reason, but there was some bullying going on. We felt anyway. I'm sure the other side didn't feel like there was bullying going on. That was our take on it. There was bullying going on. So we got in some battles and stuff, and then there was some real bad stuff going on with our alliance. We was trying this is like a year ago. Stuff going on with our original STFC. I remember I left. It was one of the reasons a lot of people may or may not like me, because I left and went on a raiding spree. Okay, because they had a guy that did the same thing. It was Space Ghost on their alliance. It went, and he just terrorized our alliance for 2 months straight. And I got talking to Q. I was like, you know what? How about I just do the same thing? He said, well, I can't. I'm Admiral. And I wasn't Admiral at the time. So I left. And I did the same thing back to them. And all it did was give them a taste of their own medicine. They gave us, they did it to us, we did it to them. It was back and forth. I'm not saying who was right, who was wrong. What started. This done went so far back and forth now. I don't even know who the hell's right.
Everybody done forgot the original reason.
Yeah. Just basically, I hate them. That kind of thing. But quite honestly, in real life, I guarantee you, Inchoke's probably the nicest man you ever met in your life. But everybody takes on a persona in this game. I'm a really nice guy. I'm a deacon in my church. I don't intentionally do anything to hurt anybody or anything like that. But I do play aggressively. And a lot of people don't like that. But that's just, it's player versus player. But we get into the little dry hitting wars. That got going back and forth. Dry hitting wars. I'm getting off subject. Too on a rabbit trail. I need to hush. But back to your question. We basically, Nona was formed, and their policy was no salt. That's what Nona means. No salt means we're not. Because I used to be called Admiral Salty when I was doing my raiding and stuff. It was just the opposite of what no salt means. But we finally, made peace agreements, whatever, went on about our ways, and then um, that was when that was the first time we actually did it. It ended up happening a second time, and that's how TE was formed because it kept going on for a while, and then TE ended up getting formed, and we gave them hell during that time as well. And then finally, it all kind of like pieced out, and everybody made the agreements because um, Nona's point back then was, telling SDFC that they had to kick Q out for peace to happen, and basically they told them that's not going to happen, and then it ended up reversing on them, with Q telling them they had to kick Inshode out, So I don't think either party was right for doing that at all. I don't agree with that, one way or the other. I didn't want anybody kicked out of anything. It's all gonna game, But nevertheless, we fought back and forth during all those times. And here recently, everything was at peace.
So if just to kind of to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
From my understanding, this most recent one, I'd say within the past week or so. From my understanding, it started out with MRFM.
That's correct. It did.
Okay, so that I guess that's the one that a lot of people are interested in.
Yeah, that's the latest.
Hearing.
You're right. No, we're not really history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we are interested. Believe me, we are interested in that. I'm just this most recent conflict.
Yeah.
That's how it started. Right.
Correct. All right. Recently, I took over as Admiral TE, and like I said, I always doing with TE, which is going out, just base raiding. Like I told you, I was spoon feeding my guys, cracking bases. Here, come get this. I'll go run me some missions. While you're doing that, blah blah blah. Just whatever, or run events. I was doing events while they were hitting their bases. Did that for quite a long time, my fellas. And then, but we was also in Zhang. Or in Eisenhower. Have y'all familiar with that?
You say that again?
In Eisenhower, do you know about the agreement in Eisenhower?
So I know that in Eisenhorn, we pretty much, I guess as far as I can tell, in Eisenhorn, we don't really raid each other. It's kind of a safe space, as they say.
Correct. Yeah. Well, as best you can control it, But there was an agreement with everybody inside of Eisenhorn. Like, look, it doesn't matter what alliance you're in. If you see a guy coming there raiding, you go defend your neighbor.
Right.
Okay. All right. I was trying to implement that same policy in Zhang. Now, Zhang's a little bigger than Eisenhorn, so it was tougher to do. But we were in the process of getting that built. MRMF come in there one night, or MRFM came in there one night, excuse me, and started raiding. And we was back and forth with them. We was actually defending a neighbor. We weren't defending our own alliance. We were trying to do like what we were saying.
Right.
We were defending a neighbor. It sort of escalated from there, between me and Crasham. But Crasham, he's actually a really cool guy. We've spoken on the phone since then, But basically, I asked them to stop, and they wouldn't. Because I was trying to tell them, look, I'm trying to do the same thing y'all are doing in your home, But you know how the messages don't really get sent as well on a PM.
Of course, yeah, of course.
You can read a PM one way, and what that son bitch say to me? And he really didn't mean that. You
can't hear the inflection in the voice, and you can't hear the sincerity.
Correct. And that was on both parts. Me and Christian both. Just misunderstanding each other. Next thing you know, well, screw you. We'll have war. So I've always been in the opinion, if you're gonna go to war, you go to all out war. You don't hold punches. Because what's the reason to go into war if you don't?
Exactly.
I mean, if you're a soldier in a ditch, you don't want some politician telling you can't pull your gun out and shoot this guy. You got to call and ask permission before I can take a shot. That's the enemy. He's right there. Let me shoot him.
Understood. Yeah.
And plus, I didn't want to deal with all those PMs either. But all my guys asking me, "Hey, can I kill this guy?" But it's just the way I've always been. If you're gonna go to war, you go to war. So we did. That rocked on, I don't know, 5 days, a week, something like that. It was really funny because during that time, I was getting tired of it. My guy was getting tired. Crash guy was getting tired of it, and we ended up talking one day on texting. And I say we ended up getting on the phone with each other, through Discord and talking there. And we sat there one night. And we must talk for like 2 hours one night. Just end up shooting shit about different stuff. Nothing with the game. Hey, what do you do for a living? That kind of thing. Kind of find a really nice guy. He finds out I'm a really nice guy. But and we was at the point of making peace. It was really funny. But I remember it because it was a Saturday, I want to say. Yeah, it was a Friday or a Saturday. I was actually walking out to my pool. I was gonna get in the pool and play a game, just sit there on the side and drink me a beer. And and I got a notice from one of my guys, hey, Nona has undeclared war on us. I'm like, what do you mean Nona declared war on us? We ain't done nothing to Nona. And I ended up PMing Handyman. Handyman and I talked. He's a really nice guy too. But we talked back and forth, and he's like, well, no, he's Incho's undecided. We're going to war. And then this is his words saying to me, piggyback word. So he said, because he wants to drive y'all, your alliance into the ground. I'm like, that's no reason, Now, whether the man said that or not, I really don't believe it. I don't think, I'm referring to Incho when I say that. I don't think he's that bad. I think he just probably got mad about something, or maybe saw an opportunity, come on and do something, drive another server in the ground. Not server, but another alliance in the ground. I don't know. I cannot speak yes or no back forth to that, Like I said, I think he's probably a wonderful man. But nonetheless, then I talked back with Crash, and he's like, man, I'm in a bad spot now. These guys are jumping on the bandwagon with me. But we were trying to find a way where we could both walk away without mud on our face. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You just to walk away peacefully. Hey, nobody won here, nobody won there, but we decided the war's over. But then he got stuck in it, and then it was on. I'm like, and next thing I know, other people are piling on,
So I know there for a second, you guys were not exactly. We weren't on the best terms with you guys, and then it went away almost as soon as it came.
Mm-hmm.
There for a while, we were going back and forth, and I think I hit one of your guys, and then it was over, and then it was back to normal.
Well, one thing that was happening bad with that is that you might have other Commodores going there and all of a sudden marking somebody as an enemy. Because I would look back and I would get on AC. I'm like, who in the hell marked so and so alliance as enemy? And I'd go in there and I'd change it. I was like, that happens. That'd be very with your Commodores. But you can't just mark somebody as the enemy without asking. And that did happen a couple of times. And I had to go in there and physically change it, because I'm getting PMs. Hey, man, why are you hitting us? I'm going to tell you, why are we hitting you? We're not at war with you. Yes, you are. And I'd go back and look. Yes, we are. No, we're not. I'd go and change it. But when you got 70-something guys, man, it's hard to control them all.
I know Dark got into on this thing, and you guys were marked enemy.
Mm-hmm.
From us, and I think that was because our Admiral was talking to Nona. Nona marked you guys AOS.
Yeah.
So Dark joined in. But if I look at the game, let me see. If I look at the game, who do we have as enemies? No, I guess you guys are still marked as enemies at this point in time.
It shouldn't be. We put out a notice that we're basically withdrawing hostilities from everyone. Yeah.
Well,
and people, still going on, but we basically said, look, we're backing off. We're withdrawing hostilities from anybody. We're just going to try to play our game. Because I will tell you this, the 40-something that's left in our team, every one of them are ex-military and fighters. I mean, they just live for this shit. They live for it. All day today, we've been having to reel them in. And I'm not even Commodore. Admiral anymore. I've been said, look, no, leave it alone. We said we're declaring peace. Don't hit anybody. But they're hitting me. I'm like, just give it some time. I said, people will back off. Because, the enemy comes piling on. So what's it going to be now? What, server-wide suicide on somebody? Or, kill somebody?
Yeah, you can't. There's no way to do anything.
Right. So, that's what we backed off. And, I've had several PMs with different known players, not going to call any names. Today, just as a test, I put miners out there just to see. It don't matter if I get blown up. I don't need G3 anyway. I just stuck some miners out there to see what they do. They'd pop them. I'd question me, what's your end game? They would never answer. They would dance around the answer. I'm like, what's your end game? We're still at war. I'm like, okay, why? Cause Incho said so. I'm like, okay, if that's your stance. Okay, then, but that's just coming from some of their players. I shared it on our personal Discord inside our alliance so people could see. But like I said, we're trying to be at peace. We really are. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just trying to go on peacefully, do our events. But if they don't stop, then it'll go back to that. I can tell you that. It's not a threat. It's a promise.
You
Go ahead.
touched on it a little bit, and I kind of want to understand the perspective of playing the game from an admiral's point of view. And I mean an admiral from a top alliance, because I formed my own alliance of one,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have to do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
What is that gameplay like? I mean, and how does that hinder your actual gameplay by being an admiral?
It sucks. It sucks. It hinders the hell out of your gameplay. I mean, the average PMs I get a day is at least 50. And that's not necessarily my guys. That's other licenses too, But you feel like a big babysitter. You really do. You're always putting out a fire. You've got somebody. You know, the biggest ones that most I would get was from other players. Hey, your guy hit me. And I'm like, and my answer always back to those is, have you spoke to him? Well, no. I was like, well, why don't you try that first? And if he's a dick to you, then get back with me. And I'll try to resolve this. Because until then, why don't y'all work it out? I send my own guy the same this guy. And half the time, I would say more than half the time, 80% of the time, it was a misunderstanding, Because, like, there was some things going on with Armadas the other day. If people was trying to start Armadas, and and you would get there, and then somebody else had done started it, kind of crap. Did that happen to y'all?
Yeah, but I think you're talking about
Yeah,
you're talking about during the Armada event, correct?
No. I'm talking about it's here recently. There was a bunch of glitches going on in the game.
Oh yeah, that's been happening where you don't see the other person's Armada, and then you set it, and all of a sudden theirs shows up, and there's 5 minutes until they start, and you're wait a minute.
And arguments start from that. Trust me.
Oh yeah, especially if it's a rare or an epic, there's supposed to be an argument.
And then you want to send a help question to Scopely, like, look, hey, you screwed me out of my thing, And that's the only thing I can tell people to do is try that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've sent them. So just as a side note to anybody who's listening that's having a problem with that, I have sent a note to Scopely. Scopely is aware of it. They responded to me and they said that we cannot refund any tokens right now because basically we don't know what the hell is going on yet. So at least they were honest.
Yeah, and they're steady making money the whole time. Yay. Sometimes you
that's kind of a bullshit response. I'm sorry.
And sometimes you think they designed it, just to cause that kind of crap. But there's all kind of things that go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. But I'm just like, look, you can refund a whole bunch of tokens because they're going to get used anyway.
Yeah.
And especially the epic ones, you really kind of have to pay for them.
Yeah.
You can't really get epic tokens from the free to play option. You only get so many.
I've hardly seen any.
You can. So I've gotten some epics from the free to play option, but it's been because, again, it depends on your alliance. People in in the alliance that I'm in is a pretty big alliance in my server, and so those in server 34 know most is I think we're ranked number 2 in power, just below Nona, and so there are always armadas going on. So you have to do that armada chain where you do a bunch of uncommons and then you cash those in, you get the rare ones, and then you wait until you get up 200 rare ones, and you cash those in, and then and so I've been able to get a couple of epic armadas through the free to play option. It's hard to do, but I think you're pretty much right. If you want to be able to do them regularly, you have to spend real money on that.
Yeah, and that sucks. Yeah.
Right.
That really, really sucks having to do that. But as far as being Admiral, it just in your day-to-day gameplay, your gameplay is cut 60% just from dealing with politics all day long. And the larger your alliance, the more politics you got to deal with, because when I was running it, we had 2 sister alliances as well. So basically, I was over like 210 people because I was only getting PMs from my guys. I was getting PMs from the sister alliance's opponents. Hey, your guy, just because they had TE next to their name, they would automatically go to me, and I would see who they were. I would scroll through. I'm like, I don't know that name. I scroll through all my guys, going back, and I'd look at. I said, no, you're talking to the wrong Admiral. You talk to this Admiral. Leave me alone. But I think I think Inchoke's actually delegated a lot of that down to his Commodores. And we did that as well with our Commodores. A lot of the stuff, and they deal. Trust me, they deal with a lot of questions too on a daily basis. Don't think it's just me. Or was just me, because it is. I mean, it's just I always tell I would never even promote anybody to Commodore without asking them first. Hey, dude, you're doing really good. Would you like the responsibility of doing this? And a lot of them be like, nah, I'm good, because they know what comes along with it. And actually, when
That's
I went to Admiral, I thought, oh, it's gonna be cool to be Admiral. After about a week into that, I was like, oh man, God, what have I done?
yeah. I have been I was a Commodore, and I think it's still around. It was called Nord, and I was a Commodore there, and I was
Yeah.
I was the ambassador, and the amount of PMs that I would deal with is just stupid stuff. I remember I got one time that said, "Hey, your guy dry hit me," and I said, "Well, okay, well, can you send screenshots?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm on Discord," so I gave him my thing. He sends me a screenshot, and that the cargo lost. It clearly shows that there was some G3 stuff. And I
Hmm.
said, "That's not a dry hit, buddy. You're OPL." And he goes, "Oh, what's OPL?" And I'm
What's
like,
up
"Why?
here?
I had to spend 5 minutes on this."
Hmm. Wouldn't it be so easy if there was some kind of way in the game where you can call them versus having to go to Discord? I
Yeah,
would love that.
it would be nice if you could do that, but then again, we'd probably have to pay a premium, probably $20 or like $100
Oh
for
yeah,
like Prime Research.
yeah,
You want Prime messaging? Yeah, here's
yeah.
your actual Prime messaging.
Yeah, yeah. If you wanna do it on the free to play wave, you have to save up 1 million rare G4 ore or something. Um. So anyway, Tech, do you have anything else that you can think of? I think I've got all the bases covered for the questions that I had.
No, I think I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy yourself today?
Oh yeah, I had a good time. But I would like to say, just I think we discussed this earlier beforehand. Just um, may have sort of a reputation on the server is, I don't know, being an asshole. I'm really not. I'm a nice guy you ever want to meet. I think a lot of things have been misinterpreted through text and PM and just hearsay. People talking. One person can. It's called borrowed offenses. You know what that is?
No.
A borrowed offense. My pastor taught me this one time. It's basically, something's done wrong to someone and then you're pissed off at the person that did it to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. So
yeah,
your buddy was wrong, so it offends you because it's your friend.
yeah. And then you take it on, and even though if your buddies, sometimes you're still mad about it. And your buddy's like, "Nah, fine, man, it's good. We talked it out," but you didn't get part of that. You weren't part of that conversation, and that happens a lot in this game. Like I said, everybody out there, am I aggressive? Yes, I'm very aggressive. I don't know about anybody that's in any kind of sport or game that don't play to win. I do play to win, but I try to play very nice. Unless provoked. And even when I'm provoked, I try to talk ahead of time. People are look, leave us alone, man. Just back off, quit doing this. But some people are assholes and just won't stop there. And I'm not mentioning anybody's name or even referring to anybody. I'm just talking people in general. That can happen in general gameplay. As far as me disliking any other game, I don't dislike the game. A lot of people think I hate Inchoke. I don't. I'm sure. I've heard he's a physician. I'm sure he's probably one of the finest ones in the country. You know, um, so that's my take on that. I've actually had very civil conversations, and we've had very mean conversations too. But we're in character. That's the way I like to look at it. When I'm on the game, I'm in character. I'm not, doing something, that I would do in real life. In other words, I think everybody assumes a role in character. I don't know. Do y'all get in character when you're in the game?
Oh, there's definitely a particular, um, like more like an internet troll character that I basically portray. I know exactly what you're talking about. In real life, in
Yeah.
the job that I had, I was very, the job that I had was help oriented. It was to assist
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
so that's me in real life. I hate
Hmm.
violence. I hate when my blood pressure has to go up unless I'm in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but in the game, if someone says something sideways, I'll go ahead and I'll just go ahead and hit you. We don't even have to trade PM. So I think to what you're
Right.
saying, people need to understand that the way that someone plays a game is not the way someone is in real life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If that was the case, I would be dry hitting all the time, killing people all the time for no reason. But I don't do that. Have I had my battles over the last couple of years? Yes, I have. Don't make excuses for a single one of them. I really don't. But I do have love for my brother, my fellow man. Just I wouldn't intentionally hurt anybody, unless I had in the game I'm talking about, in real life, if you hurt one of my family, you're gonna have a bad day. But
Yeah, I think that goes for just about anybody.
Yeah, but as far as just general life, nah, nice as you ever want to meet. I mean, I run a construction company every day. So if any of y'all are in sales, you know what that's like. The customer's always right. So I have to be Mr. Nice Guy all day long.
Oh, I'm in my new life. I'm a personal trainer, so I completely understand as far as people going, yeah, it's just not working, and I'm thinking you're not doing it right.
I know, and you want to tell them, but you can't. I know.
Yeah, because I gotta let them. Hey, well, let's try it a different way. Maybe you won't screw it up so bad.
Yeah.
So to that being said, one of the things that we did want to do, and we're very glad that we were able to do, is give you a platform where people could actually understand that it's not just a screen name. There's a person there. There are some things that may happen that you disagree with, but that's the beauty of it being a video game, is that we can play it how we want to play it. And if you want to hear more about that, don't forget to go listen to our interview with the infamous chef, and you'll find out all about that. So with that being said, Tech, you got anything else?
No, I just wanted to quote a famous captain, Jean-Luc Picard, saying that all of us have a story to tell. And it takes a certain individual to come on to a platform that potentially may be viewed by tens, hundreds of people, maybe thousands at one point, really just kind of unveil themselves a little bit and show who they are, the glimmer that most people don't see. And first of all, I commend Key. Thank you for coming on. And I commend anybody who comes on and talks about themselves and about the gameplay and just who they are, just to show that we are people. We are people in real life, but the game does not define who we are.
I agree.
Anyways, with that said, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
You want to come back on again at some point?
Oh, sure. I'll be glad to. I'll be glad to. Just one thing I want to say in closing to anybody who listens to this that plays on our server. If you get in an argument with somebody versus the PMing, ask them to go to Discord for one. Yeah, and if nothing else, do a check. 99% of the problems will go away between anyone if they'll do that. If you get open line of communications versus texting, like you said, the inflections aren't there, in text. But if you would just do it, physically talking, I realize everybody can't do that every time, but if it's really bad, try to get them on the phone first. Or you don't have to be their cell phone number. You can get on Discord, do voice chat on that all day long. Become friends. That'd be my advice to everyone. Yeah. But other than that, I appreciate y'all having me.
Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Okay. But anytime you want. All right, guys. Well, I've had a good time.
Thank you so much. This has been Check Talk with Tech and Kirk. I'm TechMan16.
And I'm Strange Kirk.
We'll see you guys next time.